Alright guys, hope you guys are doing really well. Now we're done and past federalism at this point, and we are finito talking about the state level government and local level government. Now we're going to be moving on to a unit I know a lot of you guys have been really looking forward to. This has been the second most requested unit all year besides economics. Maybe third actually. Judicial branch was also very well requested, and that's political parties. During this unit, we're going to be talking about the history of political parties. We're going to be talking about the two major political parties today, what they stand for, what they believe. Is it good? Is it bad? What does it mean for you, the seventh grader? And a whole lot more. We'll even be looking at parties that aren't Republicans or Democrats. But today we're starting off small, so let's just start off slow and work our way to the end. But let's dive right into it. So what are political parties today? So today in the United States, you have two major political parties. You have the Republicans and you have the Democrats. And you also have many things known as third parties. Now, there are literally probably 100 third parties, so I'm going to keep it simple at 5 of those third parties. And when you see how small these third parties are, you'll realize why I kept it simple at 5. But before we even dive in and talk about like Republicans, what they believe on this, what Democrats believe on this, I actually want to give you guys a little bit of a test. Now, if we were in the classroom right now, I'd literally hand you a test right now, but we're not. So what I want you guys to do is there's a Google form link from your assignment list that I want you to go to, and I want you to answer these questions based upon what you believe, how you think, what your worldview is, and which one do you think is right. This is ultimately to give you a little bit of an indication of what political party you probably will ally with. That doesn't mean you will ally with that political party. You could answer all 10 of these questions, and let's say hypothetically you sided with the Democrats with all of them. That doesn't mean necessarily you will automatically be a Democrat. It just means for these 10 questions you sided with the Democrats. Same if it was the Republicans. This is just to kind of give you a little bit of a sample. The reality is, if you wanted a comprehensive test, it would be like well over 100+ questions. And that doesn't mean you're stuck with that political party the rest of your life. I mean, every single day you guys are learning more and more things. And you're always welcome to change your mind. I mean, there might be some stuff here that you might have thought like, hey, I thought this was okay when I was like 12, but now that I'm 20 or something like that, I don't think it's okay. That's a-okay as well. So don't feel like you're locked into these things as if like once I put on these colors, they're my colors for life. No, not at all. I mean, yeah. Anywho, so go in the Google form, follow along. Keep track of which ones are Republican and Democrat answers if you want the answer of where you stand. But without further ado, let's dive right in. So, question 1. Which of the following is closer to what you believe? Business corporations make too much profit and the little guy is not making enough? Or B, most corporations make a fair and reasonable amount of profit because they put in all the effort, the time, the investment, the capital, and all the risk? You get the idea. And at this point, just look at the Google form and just fill in each answer. This is all completion based, so there's no wrong answer here. It's just to see where you guys stand. Without further ado, if you had chose the first one, you actually sided with a Democrat belief. If you chose the second one, you sided with a Republican belief. Don't worry, there's still 9 more questions to go. Let's keep going. Question 2. Do you think federal government should make sure all Americans have health care? Simple enough, either a nope or a yup. And depending on what you chose, if you had chose no, then you actually sided with a Republican belief. If you chose yeah, then you sided with a Democrat belief. Don't worry, you're welcome to change your mind as once you get more information if you don't like your answer. Question 3. Which of the following is closer to what you believe? The government is doing too many things and would be better left to businesses and individuals. So in other words, the government has too much power. Or B, the government should do more to solve problems. In other words, the government should have more power. If you chose A, you actually sided with a Republican belief. But if you chose B, you sided with a Democrat belief. Question 4. How do you feel about the environment? The government should do whatever it takes, even if it costs $1 zillion, to protect the environment, because polar bears are people too. Or B, the government should not do whatever it takes to protect the environment. I mean, you can do stuff to protect the environment, but not if it's $1 zillion. And let's be honest, polar bears are bears that can eat people. There's your fun fact. Polar bears are one of the few species on Earth that actually look at human and it's like, that's prey. Which is why if you go to the North Pole, be mindful of polar bears. They might look cute and cuddly with a Coca-Cola bottle, but if they don't have that Coca-Cola bottle, then they might see you as food. Anywho, I've talked about polar bears for too long. If you chose A, you sided with the Democrats. If you chose B, you sided with Republicans. Question 5. Do you think abortion should be a right for women? Yes, all women should have the choice, or B, no, women should not have the choice of an abortion. And I know this isn't as comprehensive, will be more comprehensive, especially with this question, but it's just kind of a simple yes or no. If you chose A, you sided with Democrats. If you chose B, you sided with Republicans. Question 6. How do you feel about taxes? Either A, taxes should be lowered in an equal rate for all, or B, tax the rich more to pay their fair share. Even though, is that really fair if you're taxing someone more and not someone else? Anywho, if you chose A, you sided with the Republicans. If you chose B, you sided with the Democrats. Question 7. Do you believe climate change exists and that global warming is a thing? This is another one that will go in greater detail once we get to it. Either A, yes, have you seen Florida lately? It's quite hot. Or B, Florida may be warm, but everywhere else is pretty cold if you ask me. I can attest to this. There are places up north that start with an M that tend to be a lot colder. Anywho, if you chose A, you sided with the Democrats in general. If you chose B, you sided with the Republicans. Question 8. How do you feel about wars and American involvement in them? Either A, as protector of the free world, America has the obligation/responsibility to ensure peace and freedom abounds everywhere it has influence. Or B, other countries should be responsible for their own matters, even if it means the good guys don't win. If you chose A, you sided with the Republicans. If you chose B, you sided with the Democrats. Question 9. How do you feel about welfare programs? Welfare programs are programs that we'll talk about a little bit more in detail when we get to this unit, but stuff like Social Security, unemployment, all that different stuff. Either A, the United States is very rich, so it should have many welfare programs to help out those who are less fortunate within the country. Or B, although the United States is very rich, if you feed a man a fish, you feed him for a day, but if you teach him to fish, you feed him for life. Meaning we should divert our resources to get people less dependent on welfare and ultimately taking care of themselves. If you chose A, you sided with the Democrats. If you chose B, you sided with the Republicans. And the last one, question 10, what are your views on the death penalty? Either A, the death penalty should not be a thing, or B, the death penalty should be a thing. And if you don't remember what the death penalty is, if you do a bad enough crime, you get X-nayed for it. You lose your head at that point. If you answered A, technically you would be neither party, because both parties actually agree with capital punishment, although Democrats disagree amongst each other a little bit more compared to Republicans. If you chose B, then you could be either one. You can just fill it in for either one, whatever one you like. Now take the sum total of that, and whatever you scored more of is what you would most likely ally to. Bear that in mind, guys, that this is not a comprehensive list. You would need a lot more questions in order to do that. So your results may vary once you actually get to that point. But all that being said, that's it for today. Tomorrow we'll be starting history of political parties.